Hello, welcome to season 2 of the Sacred Soul Sisters podcast. Oh my goodness, we are in 2026 and I have never been more ready for this year. Oh my gosh, the year of the fire horse. Well, welcome before we get too far ahead. Welcome to the Sacred Soul Sisters podcast, a sacred space created for awesome souls who have spent years caring, giving, leading, and holding it all together, and are now feeling the quiet call to return to themselves. However, that call may be just getting a little louder this year. I'm Justina. I'm a Reiki master teacher, healer, nurse for over 20 years, transformational speaker, retreat leader, workshop leader, and this podcast is an invitation to you to allow your inner soul to slow down, soften, receive, and remember who you are beneath those roles and responsibilities and expectations that you've been carrying, but also to ignite the fire within you, to remind you how awesome you are. I'm so happy you're here. So here we talk about real healing, not the bypassing kind, but the kind that meets you exactly where you are. We explore energy, spirituality, emotional release, nervous system regulation, divine support, and what it truly means to live in alignment with your soul while navigating this crazy real life, right? So you'll hear heartfelt conversations, intuitive teachings, gentle practices, and soul-led interviews. They're all designed to help you clear energetic blocks, reconnect with your inner wisdom, and reclaim your vitality without guilt or burnout. Right? Like we are done. We are done messing around. I am so fired up about this year of 2026 and I cannot wait to hang with you this year. So thank you so much for being here. This is the place where you don't have to have it all figured out, but it is the place where your strength is remembered, your light is reawakened. And if this resonates with you, I would love for you to follow the show. Please leave a review. It helps the message reach so many more individuals that need it at this time. You can also visit my website at angelreikijourney.com, scroll to the bottom, sign up for the newsletter to receive soulful updates, upcoming offers, gentle reminders that you are never alone in this path. Come connect with me on Instagram at Angel Reiki Journey and join the conversation, or you can find me on LinkedIn where I share reflections, teachings, and ways to bring this work into your life and leadership. You weren't ever meant to do this alone. You belong here. And I'm so glad you are here. So take a breath and welcome to the Sacred Soul Sisters podcast. Disclaimer, you should always check in with your physician, your psychiatrist, your counselor, or anyone else assisting in your care prior to deciding that you would like to take any of the recommendations, the suggestions, and our thoughts on any of the subjects that we discuss in the podcast. Thank you so much. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Sacred Soul Sisters podcast, a space where women gather to awaken, heal, rise, and remember who they truly are beneath the conditioning, the pain, and quite frankly, the expectations of the world. I'm your host, Justina, and today's conversation is one that I know is going to deeply touch so many hearts. Today, we are joined by the incredibly powerful and compassionate Lauren Tobey, trauma-informed coach, creator of the Spiral Framework. Wait till you guys hear about this. This is amazing. And a woman who has transformed her own lived experience into a profound pathway of healing for others. Lauren's work is centered around helping women recognize the difference between who they truly are and who they learn to become in order to survive. This conversation is for the women who became the strong one, the capable one, the caretaker, the over-functioning woman who held everything together while silently disappearing inside of herself. Can you relate? I'm sure. Me too. We're diving into trauma recovery, survival identities, nervous system patterns, emotional adaptations, and what it really means to return to yourself, not through force, perfection, or fixing yourself, but really through awareness, compassion, and truth. This episode is deep, validating, emotional, and incredibly liberating. So let's take a deep breath for a minute, hand to our heart, deep breath in through our nose, and long exhale out of our mouth. Really let your shoulders drop, settle into this moment, and let's welcome Lauren to the Sacred Soul Sisters podcast. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, thank you so much for that kind intro. That was so sweet. I loved that. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Absolutely. I'm so glad you're here. Your story is incredibly powerful because honestly, I think so many women are silently living it, very high functioning on the outside, but often unraveling or just stuffing continuously internally. So, can you take us back to the version of you who was surviving through all of this? Like, when did you first become aware of like what was going on with you?
Yeah, for me, my first real kind of identity collapse was post-divorce. So I'd been in a 10-year marriage, almost 15-year relationship with a guy. We had our daughter, but I didn't realize until my eyes were opened and later how much I had been trimming off of myself throughout the marriage and, stuffing my feelings down, my emotions to the point where it felt fine because I didn't know that I had different feelings or emotions, and my body was just kind of going through the motions. I call it the machine. That every one of us I know has that machine where it goes through the motions. It knows how to do bath time routine and bedtime routine and getting kids to school routine. And I ran that way for about 10 years. And it wasn't until, I talk about these things called embers, but these little sparks that we get, and we all get them. And most of the time, we just dismiss it like that was a weird thought or whatever. But I had a ember moment where my daughter was, we were putting up Christmas decorations. My daughter was 3 at the time. She's pulling out, Christmas lights like 3-year-olds do and making a mess. And he snapped at her. Just one of those kind of frustration snaps. Like everyone's tired of decorating for Christmas. We're forcing ourselves to sing carols, right? And that was my ember where I was like, when did this become my life? Where now I'm managing a 7-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a husband's emotions. Like this isn't me. This isn't what I want. And that was my first oh, something is wrong moment that I had in my life. And that led to quite the experience of kind of recovery and trying to figure out. Because instead of nurturing that kind of ember, I turned it into a fireball. I call it a fireball when you just burn your whole life down. Like I had this ember. And so now I have to change everything about my life and I have to get divorced and I have to move and I have to do this. And instead of trying to figure out what the issue is, you just burn the whole thing down. And so that's what I did. And it was quite a recovery journey. But then I realized that I just changed where I was hiding myself. So suddenly I was hiding myself in my job and was that's who I was. I was this person who was an executive at a nonprofit, and I was so good at what I did. And I was on the CEO track. And then all of a sudden, they let me go totally out of the blue. And I had another collapse. And I was like, okay, now who am I? Like, I'm not wife, I'm not executive. Who am I? And that's when I started noticing the patterns in what I was doing post divorce and post layoff, and that this kind of was a cyclical thing. And so that's when I really dove into this work and uh, tried to figure out, really, it was all trying to figure it out for myself. And then once I figured that out, it was like, oh, there's so many women, I think, that are in this same exact place of, and that became kind of my core thesis or my core question of who are you when you're not who you had to become? So whatever your situation was, who are you underneath all of that?
Right. Gosh. I think so many women wear capability like armor, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Or,
yeah.
I mean, or they're just, often if they're working full time, they're often exceeding in their job.
Mhm.
They're, from what it looks like, exceeding at home, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, go, 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 go. And, you said something so profound that much of what we call our personality
Hmm.
is actually survival adaption. And I want to say
Absolutely.
just real quick, I I well, I wish I would have met you back in 2012 when I had a huge moment like this as
Mhm.
well. And I had a moment where I realized that I was a robot, that
Mhm.
I had completely shut down my heart chakra, my energy center there. I
Mhm.
could not uh, accept love or give
Mhm.
love, really. I mean, I took care, like you said, I did what I was supposed to do. Like I fed the kids, I gave them baths, I did the wife stuff, I did, my job stuff. But I literally was like, what is like my whole
Mhm.
insides had been removed almost.
Mhm.
And I put out like a call into the universe, a call to God. I was just like, okay, what is going on? And that's when I was diverted to go to a spiritual retreat in order to
Mhm.
get brought back. But I
Yeah.
think it's so common. But what does it really mean, like survival adaption? Hello, hello, hello. Can you believe we are almost halfway through 2026? Oh my gosh, this year has just been flying by. Guess what? I have something exciting to tell you. So, I have been asked multiple times if I would teach Reiki online. And I will be officially teaching my first online time in July of this year. So, July 24th and 25th, if you are interested in getting certified in Usui Holy Fire level 1 and 2, please look into this. My link will be in the show notes. It should also be in my Instagram bio and then on my website. I cannot wait to meet you. It will be amazing. It's 2 whole days. We get to go through some deep, deep healing as we get these amazing certifications, and you get to feel the Reiki energy within you, around you. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. And if you prefer to do the traditional route of in person, that's still available as well. I will be teaching another in person level 1 and 2 in August. So August 22nd and 23rd. So, real quick again, if you want to do the online course, it's July 24th and 25th, 2026. If you want to do in person, August 22nd and 23rd, 2026. All right. I look forward to hearing from you. Okay. Now back to the episode.
So, I mean, really, it goes all the way back to, how our bodies were created. Our nervous system is the core operating system of our body. And we hear so little about it in school or, in day to day life. We like to think that our logical brain is in control and we can, look in the mirror and give ourselves a pep talk and that's going to do the
Mm-hmm.
job. But in reality, I like to ascribe it to your brain is like the intern. Your nervous system is the CEO of your body. And so, like, when everything's going smooth, right, the intern gets to get their feet wet. They get to do different projects and
Mm-hmm.
do these things. But when the business is in crisis mode, the intern does not get a say. The CEO takes over and the CEO does what needs to be done. And that's how our nervous system works is when we're in threat mode or crisis mode or something that our body is struggling to handle, the nervous system takes over and it will completely turn off non essential functions. So that's where we turn off emotion, joy, preferences, peace, like all of those things that we feel like make us human. All of that
Mm-hmm.
gets turned off because our body only has the energy to do what it needs to survive. And so we go into that, machine state, robot state, like you said, where our body is just doing what it has to do to get us to the next day. And I equate it to, I call it the lion in the living room. So I have my little lion here because he's my little friend.
I love that.
But it's, if you think about you walk into your house one day and there's a lion in your living room, laying on the couch, like cleaning his paws, doing his thing. The last thing you're going to do is sit there and think about like how I feel about this lion and, how does this make me, adapt to my journey? Like that,
Right.
none of that is happening, right?
Right.
All of
Right.
it's good, but it's not going to happen when you walk in and see a lion laying on your couch.
Amen. Right.
And so if you think about that, what does your body do at that moment? It's going to just go into preservation mode. How do I get around this lion? What do I do? What do I need to make sure I don't move too much, make sure I don't talk too much? And
Wow.
when you're in that situation for that long and you're stuck in this house with this lion, your body is going to just figure out eventually that that's your baseline, and it doesn't need the rest of that stuff because all you need to do is survive. And even if that lion leaves, your body still has that as its baseline. And it's not until you give it feelings of safety, of comfort, and joy that any of that can come back online. And so that really is the whole thing, is how do you feed your body those signals of safety to tell it like, hey, the war's over. Like, dysregulation doesn't need to be our baseline anymore. We can come back to that regulated state and bring back on joy and cognitive thinking and rational thought and all of that that got shut down.
Right. And it's what's insane about this. And I know I talk often about this, with energy work and everything, and how so many different energies that we take on, emotions, get stuffed in different parts of the body and breed disease. But like what you're talking about right now really truly has a deep physical component. I went to a naturopath physician and had testing done too. And what showed, so he knows nothing about me, right? I walk in, he has all of my results, my mineral levels, my electrolyte levels, everything. And he said, well, what this says to me is that you have been in fight or flight for at least 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, what? Like, you just looked at so I love science in the way that, when we talk about these kinds of things, when, like when Lauren's explaining all of this, it has, a very, very deep level, this affects you. Like when she talks about like it shuts off different parts of you, like it truly does. It's mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of it, like you said, has to do with this safety. And I remember the first time I heard somebody mention that word to me. So I'm a Virgo and I'm anal retentive and I take care of my own shit and I'm independent and I was a robot, right? And so when someone mentioned to me, maybe you just need to be somewhere where you feel safe. I'm like, I don't need to feel safe. Like I'm safe. Like I don't need nobody to make me feel safe. So it was almost like an insult, and I had this trigger sort of response. And I just say that because you may be listening right now, and that may be your first response, like hearing some of the stuff we're talking about. But again, I think it goes to show that, maybe your brain's not cooperating exactly how it would if you were in a safe, regulated spot, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, the word safety gets to be a difficult word for people because we're taught as kids, right? Safety is your physical safety. And people are
Right.
like, you need to create
Yes.
safety. And you're like, my doors are locked. My alarm is set. I don't
Right.
know what else you want. Like,
Right. What do you want from me?
I'm
Like, I'm
safe,
not being
right?
murdered right now. So
Yeah.
technically I'm safe.
Yeah. And so we don't hear as much about the emotional safety, the mental safety, this.
Yes.
And so that word, I think, really can throw people off. Uh, and especially when you talk about traumatic situations or, emotional abuse situations, is, the saying, but it never got physical. And
Yes.
that harms so many people because it takes away the impact that emotions and feelings and felt safety play in the role of someone's body. And it's been scientifically proven time over time in all the journals and all the places that your body cannot tell the difference between a social wound and a physical wound. That you getting rejected socially has the same exact physiological response as someone coming up and slapping you in the face. And when we when you think about that and you really ingest that, it really makes you think so much differently about those social wounds, those emotional wounds, because it's causing the same exact damage to your body, to your psyche, to your brain, to all of it.
And sometimes to a much longer extent.
Yeah.
Like my nursing, so I've been a nurse for 20 plus years as well. And, I've had patients that have come in and they come in as being completely exhausted, not knowing what's wrong with them. I
Mhm.
find out they've been in a marriage for 15 years where they can't ever speak what they really are thinking or feeling or ever their preference or anything like that. And their responses to me, just like you said, well, he never beat me. I mean,
Right.
like, really, like I've talked to my grandma about it. She was like, has he ever actually hit you? No. Okay. Well, suck it up. Like, you'll be all right. And, and I said, and my response is always, honestly, honey, like the best case scenario would be you had a broken arm because I could fix that and we could have
Yeah.
a time frame where that gets healed. There's no
Mhm.
guarantee that in 6 weeks, oh, you're good
Yeah.
emotionally, right? I mean, sometimes that has a much longer effect,
Yeah.
on your body. So just because it's not a physical wound, exactly like you said, I mean, the ramifications are often greater.
Yeah. Well, and it socially compounds that trauma also. Cause like you said, if you come in and you're like, he threw me against the wall and I have a broken arm and this bruise on my face, people are going to rally behind you. They're going to, do all this for you. But
Right.
when it's those silent wounds, you get oh, I talked to my grandma and she said I was overreacting. Oh, well, I did this and, I'm probably just being too sensitive. And then that all compounds again on top of the original wound that you don't get when they're physical wounds. And I'm not saying physical wounds aren't bad.
No,
Physical
100%
abuse
me
is
either.
bad.
Yes, of course.
But it's easier to ignore the invisible wounds. And those play so much into our body and leading to physical ailments, physical issues, that we see a lot of times with these autoimmune diseases are when you track them down, people have had trauma in their past and their body is
100%.
responding to that because you didn't listen when it was whispering. So your body's going to get louder and louder until you finally pay attention. For me, it was a gallbladder attack. Like I had
Mhm.
apparently been living with this really bad gallbladder for a very long time, but I refused to listen to my body
Right.
until my body said, oh, you're going to listen today. Like we're done
Right.
talking about this.
Hey, you got a question. Are you ready to make the journey back to yourself? Are you ready to return to your truth? Okay. Well, I think you're ready to start the new cohort. So, level 1, Awakening Return to Your Truth, is a 3-week intimate group experience for women. Okay. If a quiet shift is happening inside you, you can't go back to who you were and you're not quite sure who you're becoming. Know this. You are not lost. You are awakening and you don't have to walk this path alone. I'm trying to create something that I would have really, really liked to have back in the day when I went through my first awakening. And to have somebody to remind me I'm not crazy, to remind me I'm safe, to help me support myself in the journey and to help support me along the way. So again, this isn't about fixing you. It's about remembering who you already are. This is so awesome. But you get to witness, understand what's shifting inside of you, reconnect to your body and feel safe again, navigate emotional and energetic transitions with care, and begin trusting your inner voice and guidance. Let me say that last part again. You will learn to begin to trust your inner voice and guidance. You may still argue with it from time to time, but you will be, oh my gosh, you will be able to start to tell the difference. Is it just mind chatter or am I actually being guided by my inner voice? So I'm so excited. The link is on the website, right? It will be 3 Wednesdays in a row. So it's a 3-week cohort, July 29th, August 5th, and August 12th. If you're unable to make it, that's fine. There will be a recording. It's from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Only having, very small group we're doing to make sure that we all stay in a safe, sovereign place So sign up as soon as you can, and I'll see you there.
And then I also had the same thing with sleep apnea. I went to get a sleep test, and, the nurse isn't allowed to tell you, what's
Right.
wrong. But she has this look on her face. I'm like, something is wrong. And then she tells me I woke up 75 times a minute. No, an hour. That a minute would be now.
Still, wow.
75
Yeah.
times an hour, which
Mhm.
is less than a minute of sleep per time, and they give me the CPAP and they give me all the
Mhm.
things. But miraculously, since I've done my healing and recovery work, I haven't needed it in like 4 years. So is it a physical, or is it my body trying to get a hold of me any way it can? And
Oh
so,
gosh,
we have people
100%.
that, have these physical issues, but the traditional just medical system doesn't know how to dig into that. Here's your prescription to fix the symptoms, but there's no checkbox on their list for, has this person been walking on eggshells for 10 years?
Oh my gosh. Honey, like, yes, I'm sorry, that just like totally lit me up. I love that. That's exactly what I end up coming across. I have, autoimmune clients as well with
Hmm.
ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease,
Yeah.
often gut issues. Like, there's so much emotional stuff there.
Hmm.
And, by coming to sessions, working through all of that, like they've been able to cut down their steroids, like for their
Hmm.
autoimmune disease. Now, again, that's through their doctor. I'm not a physician, all of that.
Right.
But my point is that, and like coming to you to be able to work through these things, what is the worst case scenario that happens? Because I see, there's still a lot of people that have a stigma when it comes to reaching out for help. They're like, I don't want to appear as this weak person. I'm a strong person. I worked
Right.
hard to become this strong person, right? And oftentimes, if they're that strong, there was a reason they
Yeah.
got that strong, right?
Hmm.
Which often has a lot of layers to it.
Yeah.
So please do reach out, because you guys
Yeah.
that are listening, I mean, this is a way to attempt to assist you in your healing journey, where you don't have to just automatically get 18 more medications on top of the
Mhm.
18 you're already taking. There's so many different caveats to this. And I often speak to physicians when I'm working with them.
Mhm.
Hey, wait a minute. Before we give like 3 more medicines, let me just ask a few more questions of her and
Right.
see if anything in her environment could be causing this situation, right? Whether that's emotional, physical, or anything like that.
Mhm.
So, I want to get into the spiral framework a little bit.
Mhm.
There are people, well, they're probably Virgos, to be honest, that are used to things being like, do. We do step
Yeah.
one, we do step two, we do step three, we make it to step four, and then boom, we're clear, we're good, right?
Right. Yeah.
And honestly, several years ago, that was kind of my thought process. Okay, well,
Mhm.
if I do all of this healing, I did a ton of inner child work and all kinds of that kind of thing, then I'll reach a point where I'm like, good, I met my quota, I'm cool, I'll be good for the rest of
Yeah.
my life, no problems, everything is great. Okay, no, not true.
No,
Um,
life is gonna life you.
Yes. And it is a journey. That is why the name of my business is Angel Reiki Journey. It is a journey.
Mhm.
And that journey can go up, it can go down. I know I've seen a couple different places. I even got a super cute sticker that says, healing isn't linear. But
Mhm.
I think people really have a hard time wrapping their head around that.
Yeah.
And why do you feel like that's so misunderstood? Because of the concrete thinking? Like,
So I think it's kind of twofold. So
okay.
one is especially for high functioning, high achieving women, is we want our checklist. And I woke up and I meditated for 15 minutes and I drank 2 glasses of water with lemon in it. And I did this and I did that. So I'm going to have a good day. And life just doesn't work that way. There's not a checklist. And then I think the other side of it is uh, a finish line sells. And it's really easy to sell someone a finish line of,
Yes.
hey, if you join this 6-step program, you're going to be healed. and there's a great picture of this woman on a mountaintop with a sunset, and she's, reached her ultimate
Right.
achievement,
Wow.
and that sells. And it's really hard to sell. This is a journey you're going to be on for the rest of your life, and you can't get off of it. And like,
Yeah,
people don't want to hear that. And,
that's true. You're
that's
right.
my message to people. But, it's not sexy. There's not, this award, this achievement you can get at the end of it. And so I think people want to be told there's a finish line, but that does so much more harm to people
It
because
really
you
does.
do all the work, you get to the finish line, right? You get your award, you get your trophy, and then something happens and you're back to the beginning. Well, now you think you failed at healing. You didn't do it right. You didn't do it good enough. And then it starts this shame on top of everything else of, you know, well, everyone else can be healed. Why did I fail at healing? Why did I fail
Right.
at doing this? Um, where if you look at it, that it's a cycle, it's a spiral, it's going to come back around. You're going to end up back in the ashes. Then it's so much easier to deal with when you do. And it's about mastering getting through those states rather than getting to the end and being like, I'm done at
Right.
40. I will never have anything bad happen again. Like, I mean,
Right.
you're gonna lose people. You're gonna lose a job. You're gonna, stuff happens, right? I just like to say
Hmm.
life's and no one's gonna stop it. So
Absolutely, for sure. Can you walk us through the spiral framework and the meaning behind ashes, ember, flame, and rise?
yeah. So the names are kind of a holdover. When I first started developing the framework, uh, it was Phoenix Rising, is kind of where I was going with it. When I
Hmm.
first got my divorce, I got a tattoo of a phoenix feather on my foot, and the saying, because of you, I will not fail. And it was like my promise to my kids that no matter what happened or what we did, like I was going to get through it for them. So when I finally started looking at this framework, I was like, Phoenix, like it full circle, right?
Hmm.
Um, but then it developed into so much more, and we turned it into the spiral and the spiral framework. But I wanted to keep the state names because they were kind of that callback to that original passion project of
Yeah.
mine back when it was just, you know, a hobby that
Right.
I was doing for fun. Because I am a Libra and I think research articles are really interesting. And I will sit up all night and read scientific journals
Wow.
because I am fascinated by it.
Rock. Yes.
Um, but so that's where the names came from. But the spiral framework talks about there's 4 states your body goes through, and it's going to go through them in a cycle for the rest of time. And it is what it is, right?
Hmm.
But the first one is ashes, and that's the machine, right?
Oh, okay.
I did it. I did what I needed to do. There's nothing for me here. I'm just gonna do what I have to do to get to the end of the day so I can lay in bed and stare at the ceiling because I can't sleep. And it's that state where you have no feelings, no emotions, no anything. You're just bleh.
Shut down.
Um, and then we talk about the embers, and those are, I kind of mentioned, those little sparks of like, something's not right. And you can do 3 things with an ember. You can either just ignore it, which 95% of us do every single day. You can turn it into a fireball, which I strongly recommend against, as I've done. Or you can tend that ember and you can notice it, you can feed it, and eventually, when you nurture it correctly, it's going to turn into the flame. And the flame sucks, and there's no getting around it. It is not the fun state, but it's when you start burning off all of those things that are not actually serving you. It's when your life, you start becoming your own person, and there are relationships in your life that liked the old person. They don't want to see the new you that stands up for herself and has opinions. They liked the one who they could call and you would do whatever they needed you to do. And
Absolutely.
so in this state, a lot of times you lose relationships, you lose communities you formed. I went through a struggle when I was in my flame state with my church community. And when I started just being me, I really struggled with those friendships because I wasn't that person that they welcomed into their group. And so I really struggled with that. And I lost a lot of friendships because of it. It's I try to equate it to like a farmer, right? Every few years, a farmer will burn his entire field down, and you think like that's your living, but you're going to burn it. But it's because it comes back fresher the next year, and it comes back stronger, and the crops germinate better.
Mm-hmm.
Same with like forest when they do controlled burns. It's to get rid of all the crud and let the things flourish. So that's really what the flame state does. It's a clarifying flame, but it's still a flame and it still sucks.
And it's
um,
also not always like a negative personal attack to you when these people leave.
oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, it's not you that they're rejecting. It's the performance of you.
Yes.
I talk about like shedding a costume, right? You've lived in this
Mhm.
costume your whole life. Once you take that costume off, people who liked the costume are going to go with the costume because that's where they became attached to. So no, it's not that they're rejecting you. It's that they're rejecting the fact that you're not that costume anymore. So yeah, 100%. And then once you kind of go through that flame state, you go into rise, and that's where you really all your emotions are back online. You have the joy, you have the rational thought. You're able to then do identity development because I think people try so hard during like the ashes or even the ember. They're like, okay, my life burned down. I'm sitting in the ashes. I need to become a new person. Well, you can't do that there. You have to get through all the other stages. And the rise state is you're doing that identity development. You know who you are at your core. You're doing all of that good inner work. And the goal is you want to be in that rise state for as long as possible. And so the whole framework is about mastering each of those states. So when you do end up in the ashes again, instead of living there for 10 or 15 years, you go, I'm in the ashes right now. Like, I give my body what it needs. For me, it's sleep. When I hit an ashes state, I don't want to talk to anyone. I want to lay in my bed and I want to sleep. And I will sleep for like 19, 20 hours and don't talk to me.
Right.
Some
Mm-hmm.
people, it's getting out into nature, it's being outside. Some people, it is being around other people that have joy and they, feed off of that. So it's whatever your body needs. Um, and then knowing like, okay, I need to find me an ember and you're looking for them. So then when it comes, you don't dismiss it. And that's what mastery becomes is you're able to cycle through these states so much faster to get you back to rise. So it's not that you're never going to be in the ashes again. I was in the ashes like a week ago and was like, I know I'm in the ashes. I need to get out of the ashes. I have stuff to do, like chop, chop. But like you can't think your way out of it. Your body's going to
Right.
tell you when it's time. No matter if you created the framework or you've read about it, it's not that you're never going to end up back there. It's just knowing what you need to do when you're there to get you back to rise faster. Like there are days when the kids are acting a fool and I go through all four states before breakfast is over because I'm like, and then
Yes.
there's times that last a couple days. But my
Right.
first few times it was, years or months. And, you just get better at it.
Wow. Yeah. I remember when I was in the ashes, as you would say, and someone asked me, what do I want in my life? I could not even digest the
Mhm.
question. I remember very uh, clearly looking at the person and just like, what do you mean? Like the thought of me being able to be an actual co-creator with my life or anything
Mhm.
was so foreign at that time.
Yeah.
Right. And at this point in my life, reflecting back to that, I just think, damn, Like, you really had no idea at that time. You could not get to that thinking part of things to
Mhm.
even be an active participant in what the hell is going on in your life at
Yeah.
all.
And I think so
Right.
many of us go through that, right? Like I had a very
Right.
similar experience working with a business coach, and this was before my second massive identity collapse. And I was like, I want to build a business. I want to be a better business person. So I'm working with her and I'm complaining or crying about something, she said. And she just looks me, I say dead in the eye, dead in the camera. So we were over Zoom and says, Lauren, when is the last time you felt joy? And I froze. Like I could not answer the question. And then it gets super awkward, right? Because then you're the person who can't tell anyone when you felt joy. And
Yeah.
it's just getting more awkward the more you sit there and like stare at the camera. But
Yes.
that was my like, I don't know. Like I could not
Right.
tell you at that point in my life. And I had kids. I loved my kids. I knew I loved my kids. But the last time I felt joy, I couldn't have told you.
Yeah, it's really wow. It's sad to think about it. I
Mhm.
have so much compassion to that version of me and that version of me that I may see again at some point.
Mhm.
But I think that I love the concept that, we revisit patterns sometimes, not
Mhm.
because we failed, but because we were ready to see them more clearly.
Yeah.
Like, and I think the way you lead people through this spiral framework is so much more compassionate and allows them a safe place to know that,
Mhm.
even though we may see ourselves back in another piece of this that maybe wasn't part of our plan, so to speak,
Yeah.
that now we have something to go to or some direction to do with that. What does
Mhm.
it mean when someone seems to find themselves repeating like relational patterns or emotional cycles? And how can we remind women to stop shaming themselves for like, oh, back here again. Here I am
Mhm.
again. I'm just doing it all over again?
Yeah. So I talk about there being you body has two databases that your nervous system gets to play off of. One is your threat database and one is your safety database. And your threat database is all the times you felt unsafe or like something was going to happen and your body created a response that kept you safe in that moment. And usually it's shrinking yourself, it's, hiding, it's not voicing your opinion, all of these things that created a sense of safety, but the only reason you had that safety was to protect you from a threat. And so that lives in the threat database. Then you have your safety database, which is all of those times that you were able to voice your opinion. You were able to say what you thought. Um, I spoke up in a meeting and I shared my opinion and I didn't get fired on the spot because I had an opinion. Um,
Hmm.
and when our safety database is empty, our body only has the threat database to go back to. So when you're in a relationship and you're starting a new relationship, your body, your nervous system is a pattern matching machine. Like you think about like the memory game, it
Hmm.
sees this and its goal is to find the other card that matches it. And that's its only job. And so it goes to try to find a pattern of the last relationship and it's like, oh, well, you were in this relationship and you were able to make the relationship work by making yourself small and doing all these things. So let's do that again. And so until you're able to feed your body these safety moments, you're always going to go back to that pattern. And it's not it's not shameful. It's that that's all your body knows. It thinks that chaos and dysregulation is the baseline. So it always wants to return to chaos and dysregulation. So it's really about feeding that safety database and doing it in micro moments because your database is run off inventory, not the size of the inventory. So even like teeny tiny micro moments get counted as one thing in the database. If you have this massive, safety moment, that's one thing in the database. So that's what I work with women really that are in the early stages of this is I want you to find the smallest moment you can today, like purposefully reject the big moments and find the smallest thing that happened today where you did something and nothing bad happened. Whether that was, I
Wow.
sent a text to my mom without reading it 42 times before I sent it. And
Good
she
job.
didn't like explode on you and come and tell you you're a horrible person. That is a micro moment. And when you start looking for the teeny tiny micro moments, you start noticing the bigger ones too. And it's ingesting those moments of safety that tells your body, oh, I can do this and the world is not going to collapse around me. Like, okay. And the more you're able to give it those micro moments and then those little bit bigger moments, the easier it is for your system to then say, oh, new relationship. Oh, well, when you speak your mind, nothing bad happens. So let's try that. And then if it's a decent relationship, nothing bad's going to happen. And if something bad does happen, your system goes, whoop, that's not, where you need to be. Let's move on to something else. But it's all about filling up those databases and thinking about how many threat moments your body
Mhm.
has collected over the last 10, 15, 30 years. And now we need to create that many safety moments.
Wow. I think this framework really gives women permission to stop treating themselves like projects to fix and
Yes.
instead begin to witness themselves
Yeah. And
with
it's
compassion.
totally about noticing yourself and giving yourself permission to listen to your body and do those things because we're not given that permission on a regular basis.
Right. Absolutely. You know, there's um there's a moment you talk about, I think this might be in the book or on your website, I can't remember, about crying in the shower
Mm-hmm.
and that it felt like it was the only private place left.
Yeah.
I think women all feel that, like, I'm getting emotional even saying it. Whew. I think many women feel that deeply.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what would you say to the woman listening who feels emotionally alone, feels like they can't wait to get in that shower because they can lock the door and have that moment to where they just try to wash it all down the drain?
I think you're right. I think so many women are in that state where it's like, I just need to take a shower so that I can cry. And I think, the shower becomes a good place because there's already water. So like the tears just mix in with the water.
Mhm,
And then if you come out and your face is wet, like it's supposed to be.
mhm.
But just knowing that one, it's okay to cry. Like there's nothing wrong
Yes.
with crying. Like your body creates that manifestation of your emotions and it's okay to experience that. Um, and then that, there is more on the other side. It is going to take a little work. It is going to take you noticing and being willing to sit with yourself and as much uncomfortableness as that creates, but that there is so much more, so much joy, so much openness that you can achieve by just finding the micro moments. Find those little, even if it's like, I got to be in the shower for 15 minutes before anyone knocked on the door and asked for, more mac and cheese. Like, whatever that is for you,
Mhm.
uh, clock those because it's so easy for us to clock all the bad things, all the negative things. Like I woke up and then the coffee overflowed when I was trying to fill it up, and then this happened, and then
Right.
this happened. And we don't clock those good moments when, like, I made coffee and it didn't overflow and it all made it into my cup. Like, that is a
Mhm.
micro moment. So noticing those is the first step, and there is more to it after that.
Wow, I love that. So it really does feel like your system gives so much hope to
Mhm.
women that they can get to a place to trust themselves again after
Yeah.
years of self-abandonment. I mean, there is a light out there. There is help out there. And again, it's not about you're broke and we need to fix you. It's about, hey, like you are a human, you are a soul, and you deserve to be able to live your life and not just be a robot in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's 100% of it is, you know, you should be living your life. Like life isn't another checklist that you get to check it off and you're done with, right? Like you should
Right.
be able to live your life and feel like a whole human being.
Absolutely. And have your own uh likes and dislikes. That
Yeah.
was another thing that often gets lost. What's your favorite food? Well, the kids like mac and cheese. My husband
Mhm.
likes steak and uh I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many questions of things that, are typically top questions when you meet somebody. What's your favorite color, your favorite restaurant, your favorite the favorites list
Yeah.
doesn't exist. So if we're saying all these things and they're triggering something inside of you and you don't know the answer to any of those questions, that can be a moment for you
Yeah.
to stop for a second and say, "Hey, I know I'm in here. What is something that I really enjoy?"
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you feel like has surprised you the most on your own healing journey?
Um, Gosh, there've been so many like surprises, but I think one of the most eye-opening ones for me was, and not getting into politics, but was my political view.
Mhm.
When I left my husband and it was a voting year and people were like, "What do you think about this?" And I was like, I don't know. Because I just absorbed his thoughts and feelings. So it's like, do I even believe that? And so once I started, I was like, because I'm a nerd and I like to research things and started researching all of this, I was like, I don't believe that at all. Like, and I think that was what was so surprising to me because it was so ingrained into me that I'm this party, I believe these things, I support these candidates. And then when I actually looked at it, I was like, no, I don't. I don't support any of those things. And so that I think was the most eye-opening to me that I was like, I literally was doing the exact opposite of what I thought and felt and
Wow.
believed.
Mhm.
And that it was so easy for me to just do the exact opposite. And I think that was one of the most eye-opening to me in that your opinions and stuff get shut down so much that you aren't even fighting it anymore. Like,
Right.
and now it's stuff as simple as like, I love seafood. I is my favorite food. I would eat seafood 3 meals a day if I could. My family hates it. My husband will not touch it. My kids will like scream and cry if they think food might be in the house. But I'm like, I like it. So when we go out, I'm like, I'm getting some shrimp, right? Like,
Mhm.
uh, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay
Mhm.
that the kids are gonna be annoyingly uncomfortable with it, but it's what I like and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to force you to eat it if you don't like it, but I'm also not going to stop myself from enjoying something. And so
Right.
it's stuff like that, as simple as that. Like, what's your favorite restaurant? What's your favorite food? And so I
Mhm.
encourage you, if you're at that place where you're sitting here listening, going, I don't have a favorite, because that's another one, right? I like all the
Right.
things. I just like everything.
Right.
Um, Challenge yourself to try 3 different things and just try it for yourself,
Yeah.
not for, like I said, will the kids like it? Will husband like it? I don't
Mhm.
know. Um, just start trying those things for yourself without editing it first.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And what do you feel like if you being you now and all that you've learned in this book and all of these things, and you were visiting the version of you that was getting the Christmas decorations out? and you're watching you do this, and you're watching your daughter, and you're watching your husband, and you're feeling the energy in the room, what would you say to her, that mom right there?
Wow. I've never thought about it that way. I think I would just, first of all, I would just would give her a hug and say, like, it's okay. I know it's scary right now because you feel like your life is a lie, but it's okay. Like, someone is here for you. You're not alone in this. And I talk a lot in my book and the work I do that it's like having a friend jump down in the ditch with you, right? Um, the old fable of, you fall in a ditch, someone walks by and throws a prescription down in the ditch. Someone walks by and throws a prayer in the ditch. Someone walks by, and then a friend walks by and jumps down in the ditch. And you're like, why did you do that? Now we're both stuck in this ditch. And he says, yes, but I've been here before and I know the way out. And so,
Mm,
like, that's the
mhm.
premise of everything I do with women is like, I get it. I've been through this. Like, let me walk through it with you. And so I think that's what I would tell her was like, there's someone to walk through it with you. You're not all alone. You're not crazy and you're not broken. Like, let's do this together.
Wow. That is so powerful. Oh my gosh, Lauren, that's so powerful. The title of your book, what is the title of your book?
Spiraling into control.
Which is brilliant as
So, yeah,
well.
I wanted to take over the like, oh, she's spiraling, like the negative connotation. Like, you're going to spiral. That doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Every
Mhm.
time you spiral, you're getting more control over your life and more say and more authorship, more agency, all the words, that we like to use. And so, yeah, I was like, I'm taking that back.
That's right. Absolutely. And where can they find your book?
Yep. So it's on Amazon. It is soon to be an audiobook. It's not yet, but it's soon to be.
Yay.
So if you're listening to this later as a replay, you may be able to get the audiobook.
Yeah,
But it is on Amazon right now in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover.
that's amazing. And can they also get that on your website?
The book is exclusively on Amazon right now. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And what is your website if they want to get in touch with you?
Yep. So it's laurentobey.com. It's Tobey, laurentobey.com. And that's where all my stuff is. You can find out everything about me, how to get in contact with me. And then I spend a lot of time over on Substack. So my Substack is where I publish papers and I get to talk to people and we have active chats and comment sections. And so that's where we really get to like dig into stuff together.
Wow, that is awesome. Oh my goodness. Soul Sisters, I do have a couple questions to leave you with today and to kind of let you do a little journaling to see what sparks inside of you. Maybe there's an ember in there. What do you believe women are collectively awakening to right now? We're just putting that out there. And what does freedom feel like to you now? Does the word freedom feel normal to you? Does it have a meaning to you? What part of yourself did you have to grieve in order to become who you are today? If you have went through many healing journeys, and also if you could speak directly to a friend of yours that may be going through exactly what you're going through right now, what would you want her to know? And I think Lauren's response about being down in the hole, right? And having someone to walk you through this spiral framework is absolutely beautiful. I mean, this conversation is really all about permission that you didn't even have to have. I think sometimes we really, as women, feel like someone has to give us permission to take any moment to heal ourselves or to invest in ourselves. But here you've got permission to stop shaming yourself for how you survived, how you created a survival pattern, or anything of that nature.
Mhm.
Permission to recognize that survival patterns were intelligent responses, and they were necessary at the time that they were created. They were not personal failures. And permission to believe that beneath all of this stuff, all of the conditioning, the protection, the overfunctioning, the emotional containment, you're still in there. You're not gone. You're not lost. And we are here to help support you. Lauren, thank you so much for being here today, for your vulnerability, your wisdom, and for creating language around experiences that so many women have carried silently for years, and some continue to do so. I recently met a lady in her 90s that her husband had passed away just a year before. And honestly, she told me stories. She had walked in this moment of survival, in this robot functioning for 70 years. And if you're listening right now, you don't have to walk it.
No.
For 70 years. You don't have to walk it for any longer. Lauren, your work is deeply important. And I know this conversation is going to help so many women feel seen, understood, and less alone. I'm so grateful that they have this book that they can get. To everyone listening, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with another woman who may need these words today. And please remember, you're not broken because you adapted. Your survival patterns are not your identity.
Mm-hmm.
And healing is not about becoming someone new. It's returning to the truth of who you've always been. There is an authentic self in there. We see you. Thank you so much for joining us on Sacred Soul Sisters. Until next time, keep healing, keep rising, and keep shining your light. I love you all. Hi, before you go, hey, I just want to say thank you again. I'm so grateful you're here. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. And I hope that you can feel the sense of community. Every time you listen to one of these episodes, you're in community with not only me, but everybody else that's listening too. And in that beautiful frequency that's created, we get to have our hearts infused with the love and peace and the hope that we have for each other. So thank you so much for that. So as you move back into your day, I invite you to take a moment, just soften your shoulders, breathe into your heart, and notice what shifted for you in this conversation. How do you feel? I hope amazing. And if this episode resonated, please follow the Sacred Soul Sisters podcast. Take a minute to leave a review. Your words help this healing ripple reach other beautiful souls who are quietly longing for support, remembrance, and community. And stay connected. You can visit my website, angelreikijourney.com. You can book an Angel Reiki session there. You can see some of the other events that we have going on. And if you scroll to the bottom, sign up for the newsletter where I share soulful reflections, upcoming offers, and gentle invitations to reconnect with yourself. You can also find me on Instagram at Angel Reiki Journey for inspiration. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm over there too. And remember, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to carry all this alone. You are deeply supported. You are divinely guided, and you are worthy of ease and joy and magnetizing moments in your life. And I'm so excited for that. Until we meet again, take care of your beautiful heart and know that it's okay to choose yourself. It's okay to offer self-love to yourself, and it's okay to receive the love and abundance this universe wants to give you. So I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.